Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome, kindred. It's Brian. It's All Natural Being, but I suspect you know that if you clicked over to IPMNation.com, you would think he's got to be listening right now. You would think he would know we're getting ready to do a show. And then right now he calls. When you think, and let me just say, when he hears this later, he's going to go, oh, that was a rookie move. This is like one of the tech guys that does all kinds of things for us here at All Natural Being. Well, not here during the show. You remember him from that opening week. So he rings, right? We're kicking off the show. Just perfect. Just love it. Hey, but welcome to All Natural Being. As I said, I'm Brian, very fired up to have you here, being your tag team partner, one half of the 50-50 that's going to reach in and get your great back out. Because I believe there's great in you, and it's not some self-help, philosophical narcotic. All these Pollyanna drug dealers running around getting you hooked on this widget or this template or that template. I'm here to talk about the real you. The right? You're used to this now, prefabricated you. The you before all the bad crap crazy in your life. And that's why I think, today is the 89th episode. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Tomorrow will be the big 9-0. I think that's why we're still number one after all these episodes, is because deep down inside, this is a show about you, right? We're a little oasis in the desert, a port in the storm, a little clarity in a field of blind spots and amnesia. I think you're a badass. I say it every day. Now, does that mean you exercise that every day? It remains to be seen. Some of us more so than others. All of us trying, doing our best, making it through the day. But if you're listening to this show, chances are pretty good, unless you just stumbled on it, right? But if you're listening to the show, chances are pretty good that you understand, that you feel, that you know what I'm talking about. You feel it in your spine, in your heart, in your gut. That you're a superhuman, that you're a metahuman, that your all-natural being is just waiting to be tapped. And then once you do, now I hear it from good Bobby. Oh, sorry, totally forgot you were doing this thing. So, but he's not here to defend himself. Let me throw him on the bus. I'll just say, come on over, Bobby. So, our good friend Bob Lockwood on his way into the studio. I want to tell you a story. I want to thank the people at CBS2 in Chicago. And this morning, my publicist, Gail, was on the line right as we were getting a launch in the show. I want to thank Gail for everything. Also, the good folks at CBS2 in Chicago, where I got my start as a television reporter. Total fluke, right? Life according to Brian. Just happened to stumble into it and ended up with a gig as a morning show feature reporter, I guess you could call it. So in any event, I was back with them last evening, the good folks at CBS2, to do another story on Zika. I'm probably heading to Miami later this week, at the beginning of next week, ground zero in the war on Zika. Probably be heading down there, working with some folks, teaching them how to beat back these bugs. It's not rocket science. But everyone's panicked. Everyone's scared. And as I said, and if you go over to, Brian Brawdy Official. All my friends, and they go, what's your Facebook page? Brian Brawdy Official. And they go, official. Yeah, no, I feel the same way, but that's the title. What do you want from me? Brian Brawdy Official. And the video is up if you want to take a peek. If not, no worries. Or send me an email, and I'll send you the link to it myself. Or you can reach out, 331-684-7685. 331-684-SOUL. Not SOLE, but SOUL. Maybe I should go buy SOLE as well. That way you can do, no, because then someone will say, well, how about soil? SOIL. That would work too, right? Dirt in our DNA. That could probably fit in nicely. So in any event, here's why I wanted to, one, I want to thank the people again at CBS. Two, here in Chicago for sending a crew out during rush hour too. Poor things, took a couple hours to get here. But we went and hung out at one of my favorite outdoor adventure places, not far from here. So when I was done yesterday, it was a little warm, I'm on my way back. The crew had broken down. Everyone's getting ready to leave. And here's the reason I want to mention it this morning, because I want to see if you ever do this for yourself. Do you ever do this? Do you ever treat yourself? Like at the end of the day, you think you've worked pretty hard. We talked before about, bringing your own bold. What is it that you're really good at? We're going to talk a little bit today about the fundamentals, how to get to the fundamentals of who you are, and how to hone those fundamentals in the moment so that you can have some fun in life. And you'd think I would have done a little research about you can't spell fundamentals without the F-U-N in fun, but let's have some fun with our fundamentals. So yesterday when it was over, what are some of my fundamentals? Well, apparently, when I'm on camera, it's something that comes pretty natural to me. And to be honest with you, you have to know now that I think I have a face for radio. When you see the segment, you're going to go, oh, Bri. That's like it's an accent you can't look away from. Yeah, you do have a face for radio. But, for whatever reason, when a camera goes on, can I tell you the truth? When the camera goes on, the people closest to me, you know what they say? They go, my God, Brian, you're just like yourself. Like when the camera goes on, you don't try to polish it up. You don't try to button it up. You don't try to do anything. You're 100% you. On camera, on the microphone, that's the way you are. I don't practice these little pregnant pauses. Well, back to you in the studio. Reporting from Ground Zero. Here in Miami. Needle Knits Dinkelbacher. Whatever, right? Where do they train these people? Where do they find these television reporters? Of course, not the young lady I was working with last evening. But some of these other ones. Remember the movies, the television show Seinfeld? Remember George Costanza's father? And they always said he talked in very choppy sentences. I don't know. New breed of reporter. And that's not to slam all my friends that are reporters. I'm just saying. But in any event, when the camera goes on, I haven't learned how to do anything other than be me, which is why, as you could imagine, my career, for the lack of a better term, as a television reporter was very short-lived because no one could tell me anything. The producers, well, you're not supposed to stand that way. Don't say back to you guys. Blade your shoulders. Don't look away from the camera. Don't laugh. Don't make fun. Now, listen, would you have known if you're covering the Taste of Chicago at 5 p.m. that it was wrong to grab a piece of a cheesecake from a lady's plate as she walked by? Would you know that? Honestly, would you? And I remember one time the traffic reporter picked a fight with me. Hey, if you keep it between us, you want to know a story? No, I can't. I don't want to get her in trouble. But in any event, you can imagine, because I didn't go to school for journalism. I didn't go to school for anything, as you know. I didn't go to school from journalism. I had no track record in TV. Some, not going to mention any names. Joni, sorry, what? Sorry, static on the line. Not going to mention any names, but some of the people that were trained reporters. I'm a trained reporter. I'm in the union. You can't talk to me like that. They were not thrilled, right? They got their start, in like Ottumwa, Iowa, wherever they get started. And they worked their way up, and I basically got my start at a traffic accident where someone caught me, asked me a quick question on camera, and I answered it. That was the birth of my career. Pretty close. Pretty much happened just like that, right? So I was like persona non grata, with the exception of a few people, really cool people. I don't want to mention the names, but people that really looked out for me. And it's nice to still have friendships and relationships with them because they're great people. And I wish I had asked in advance, but I'm just going to say, like Sue, dear friend. Like Chris, right? Some really cool people. And you know what? I don't even want to go down that road. Here's how I started down this story. I'm really thankful to the good folks at CBS2 in Chicago. Thanks for having me back. And for all the people that I used to work with texted me last evening saying it was nice to see me back on air. I really appreciate it. Haven't grown up at all, for whatever it's worth, in 10 years, 10 plus years, however long it's been. Haven't grown up at all. But I really am fired up to be hanging out with Tommy and some of my old friends again, even if we just caught up quickly last evening. So the reason I tell you that story is at the end of the day, I was like, okay, they called me. I ran over there, did the spot, was done with it. Felt like I had a pretty productive day. And do you ever do this? Do you ever, just at the end of the day, you look and you go, I think I'll treat myself. And of course, if you're like me, the first thing you think is, let's go get a fresh handmade cannoli, right? Who wouldn't? But you can't always eat a cannoli late in the day, that you got the sugar and all the rest of this. And you bring a cannoli home, all of a sudden everyone else is a fan of cannolis, so you got to share. It's like French fries from McDonald's. So I said, I don't want a cannoli. I need something I can get rid of in a hurry. The evidence. So I stopped over to a local store. You know what I did? I got a plastic fork from the food counter, and I bought myself a little tub of fresh watermelon cubes. And I sat there on a park bench outside of this store, and I had 20 forkfuls of watermelon. It tasted great. It was so cold and refreshing, and it made me think I was going to share that with you all this morning, because what I want to know is, how do you treat yourself? Not like if you get up in the morning and drink coffee. Not stuff that you consider to be medicinal, or at least habitually medicinal. I can't even talk to anyone till I get my coffee. Right? Not like that. So how do you treat yourself? Some people might say, I get a manicure. Very cool, I guess. Very cool. Pedicure. Never had one, but I hear good things. I hear good things about people getting pedicures. What do you do, though, to treat yourself? If you get through to the end of the day and you're like, no, I rocked it. I had a pretty productive day. I cleaned the garage yesterday. That made it a little productive. Because I got a drum roll, please. The block box arrives today. I feel like Steve Martin. Remember when in the movie The Jerk, when the phone books are in? The phone books are in. The phone books are in. Well, my block box gets here today. I get in there, close that door. No sound, no light, no Wi-Fi, no bullets, 2x4s, wind, no fire. This is just, it blocks everything. I can't wait. I may take in a little tub of watermelon my own self. But in any event, I was cleaning out the garage to get that done. So yesterday was a productive day. So what did I do? I stopped and got some watermelon. But here's what I want to know. What do you do to treat yourself? What do you do? If you're you get to the end of the day and you're like, yeah, that was a pretty cool day. What do you do to treat yourself? What might you do to be able to treat yourself? Maybe you should get a cannoli. Maybe you should get a bag of French fries from McDonald's if that's something that you like. I can't eat them anymore. They're too addictive. You're like, everyone says, Lay's potato chips. You can't have just one. Maybe it's a potato thing because I'm a Mick. I don't know. Right? Maybe it's just with us Irish people. But good God, those French fries are fantastic. But I don't eat a lot of them. You know what I mean? I'm an old guy. Got to watch what I eat. I'm told. What do I know? But how do you treat yourself? 331-684-7685. Or head over allnaturalbig.com, brianbrawdy.com, unlockingmetahumans.com, revivingsuperhumans.com. Stop on by. Let me know. I'd love to know. How do you treat yourself? And if you don't, why not? Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't you find a way to, at the end of a productive day, I deserve a little something, a little treat. You know what I did the other day? Chocolate-covered almonds. Handful of those. That was nice. Treat yourself. It doesn't always have to be something that you eat. It's a particular type of music. Maybe you get out a piece of blank canvas, throw some paint around. For me, they're like whiteboards. The studio is wall-to-wall whiteboards and other things, but whiteboards. And I'll, sometimes to treat myself, I'll throw some thoughts up on there. Move this here, carry the 6, put the long division, couple multiplied equals, and all the stuff on the wall. That's kind of a treat. But what could you do? Maybe you could take your dog for a walk. Maybe you have a dog and you're like, you know what? Maybe the dog and I will just go hang out somewhere. Maybe you have a favorite book. Maybe you have some poetry that you like reading, right? Who doesn't love a nice, quiet few minutes with a book of T.S. Eliot? Maybe you could treat yourself that way. But I had to tell you, while I was doing it, the first thing that popped in my mind is, I feel a little guilty. I should get back. Sun's setting. Then I thought, I don't know, but this watermelon's pretty tasty. I know how to drive after dark. What am I worried about, right? I got my plastic spork, and I got a tub of watermelon, and I'm ready to go. How do you treat yourself? What could you do? How could you do it at the end of the day to pat yourself on the back, to be your own biggest friend? That's what I think we should focus on, at least for a little bit here today. How could you treat yourself? We'll be right back.
IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it today. Our anaerobic aphorism. And then I also want to I haven't done this in a couple weeks. I want to take the time to thank all the different stations that have come on board, all the different cities that are now listening in, responsible for making us number one here on IPMNation.com. Let's do the anaerobic aphorism, and then we'll thank some of those cities. Anaerobic aphorism for today. It would be a mistake to count you down or out because they can't contain you without your consent. In life, we get like a standing 10 count. They don't win unless you and I tap out. So if we have, going in, an idea that we're never going to tap out, when we're down, the best way to get up is to look in. When we do that, it'd be a mistake for anyone to bet against us. It's most certainly a mistake for anyone to bet against your all-natural being. And I think at times we forget about that. I think at times we take people's opinions. We let them count us down or out. We let them contain us. We let them constrain us. But it takes two to pincushion. You got to let those pins in because before you become an official pincushion. It would be a mistake to count you down or out because they can't contain you without your consent. So what do I say? Let's not give them the consent. Let's remember who we ultimately are and everything we're capable of. And that's what I'd like to focus on this morning. Your boldness, your fundamentals. So let's go ahead and thank the top 10 cities, and then we'll get in. Let's get into some stuff. I got some pretty cool articles this morning that I'm fired up about. So thanks go out to top 10 cities, listeners, and viewers here on IPM Nation. Manchester, New Hampshire. That's funny. I didn't try to do an accent thing there. I don't know what happened. Boston, Massachusetts. New York. Oshkosh. By gosh, Wisconsin. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Laconia, New Hampshire. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Concord, New Hampshire. Chicago, Illinois. Thank you, Chicago, as always. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland, Ohio. And then Rochester, New Hampshire. I want to thank you all, not just for helping make All Natural being the number one show, but all the different shows here on IPM Nation. Tuning in, watching, listening, whenever you get a chance. So thank you very much for that. All right, so here's something that I found very interesting this morning. We talk about our fundamentals. This is from Science Daily. Study from Swarthmore College. Summary says, older adults are better at interpreting the correct slope of a hill. They're better at it than young adults, which researchers believe is because of greater life experience. The article goes on to say, quote, with age comes wisdom. Well, at the very least, when it comes to knowing that things aren't always as they appear. All right, so we know that. With age comes wisdom. You know, everyone says, oh, you're over the hill. I'm over like 5 hills. What particular hill are you talking about? Right? Well, just because we're over the hill doesn't mean we don't have wisdom, doesn't mean we don't know what's going on. And this particular study, led by the professor of psychology, Frank Durgan, appears in the journal Eye Perception, finds that older adults are better at interpreting the correct slope of a hill. They're better than the young adults. In the study, he and his team, Kat Norris is one of the other psychologists, Abigail Dean, and a couple other people, asked about 50 college students, 50 adults from a surrounding community ranging from ages 18 to 72 to properly gauge the slope of a hill. They discovered that among participants with no knowledge of slope, older participants gave significantly more accurate estimates of the hill than the younger adults. Why is that? Because they've had some experience. Hill look very steep to humans compared to their true slant, or its true slant. A sloped path that looks like it's at 20 degrees is probably more about 5 degrees. Well, yeah, because if you're going to climb it, you go, oh, that hill is just brutal. But when they did the test, it's us old guys and gals. Am I allowed to say gals? I don't want any mansplaining. Am I allowed to say gals? Want to be? No, I don't. I don't want to be politically correct. What am I thinking? We ask each participant, according to the study, give the estimates of a few hills on campus while standing at the base of the hill. What'd they find? The old crowd knew what was going on. It supports the idea that people were intentionally applying their knowledge. We found that more conscientious people were more likely to use their knowledge than less conscientious people. So what does that say? It fits the idea that with age comes wisdom. We know what we're talking about. We got a little bit going on. So all you young whippersnappers, just slow your roll. And if not, then we can at least say, hey, we're both bringing something to the game. So I found that fascinating. Where everyone says, oh, you know, cognitive decline as you get older. Everything starts to go. Baloney. No, it doesn't. Doesn't have to at the very least. You know, I find it fascinating. You're on the internet now. All these 23-year-olds. Well, let me tell you what I learned, my life experiences. Really? I got artwork that's older than 23 years old. You kidding me? Really? I think I have a rifle that's more than 23 years old. You kidding me? So here's a little bit for the old crowd. All right? So we got it going on still. No one has to worry. We're still in the game. As long as we keep channeling our all-natural being, we're still in the game, which I think is good news, which would be the perfect reason to treat yourself this evening because you're still in the game. All right, let's do this real quick. We'll be right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
All right, how much longer are we let them hijack our hearts and our heads, or our heads and our hearts? Tomato, tomato. We share some of the blame, though. It's a co-hijacking, you have to admit. We kind of, we've talked before about the Stockholm Syndrome, where we fall in love with our Venus flytraps. Oh, it's such a pretty Venus flytrap. Fall in love with our walking, talking pits of quicksand that like the idea of holding us back. Oh, well, look at it's like a sand mandala. It's not as bad as it seems, really. It's okay here. I don't mind having my motion restricted. It's only quicksand. It's not like it's going to kill me. Right? How much longer are we going to let that happen? New study out. 3 meditation tips for people who hate meditating. So this particular article is, again, it's all about getting. Oh, you want a better job? Less stressed out? Is that what you'd like? More focus? You'd like to be happier at work? So the article says, start by sitting. You can do it walking. You can do it lying down. You can start however you like. Just, kind of like chill. That's what it is. Chill out. 2, it says, get comfortable with the reality of the monkey mind. I have to tell you, it uses a quote here from Elizabeth Gilbert. Eat, pray, love. Quote, like most humanoids, I am burdened with what the Buddhists call the monkey mind. The thoughts that swing from limb to limb, stopping only to scratch themselves, spit, and howl. From the distant past to the unknowable future, my mind swings wildly through time, touching on dozens of ideas a minute. Ooh, that's pretty good. Unharnessed and undisciplined. This in itself is not necessarily a problem. The problem is the emotional attachment that goes along with thinking. You are, after all, what you think. No, you... Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, let me finish the quote. Then I'll go off. Sorry. You are, after all, what you think. Your emotions are the slaves to your thoughts, and you are the slaves to your emotions. Gong. Oh, give me something to throw at the gong. Where's the mallet? Gong. Remember the Gong Show? Like, I'm not going to argue with Ms. Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love. We're not a slave. We're not our thoughts. Our all-natural being sits behind that slideshow that this is your life retrospective whenever it goes down. And I have to be honest with you, we talk about the monkey mind, the crazed mind, we talk about binge thinking. It's every so often I tend to be a fan. Got to tell you. It says, oh, well, you got to meditate so you can get rid of the monkey mind. I love my monkey mind. Am I still allowed to say monkey? I love my monkey mind. My grandmother used to say that I used to run around like a little monkey. I love my monkey mind. Well, I'm a good bit bigger fan when I remind the monkey who works for who. Right? What is those guys, that little crank on the box? I just want to make sure the monkey know who's cranking the music box. That's all I'm saying. Once you draw that line in the sand, and you let the monkey mind know that it works for you, you don't work for it, the monkey mind's the greatest thing in the world. Now, we have to be able to control our binge thinking, which I think, hopefully, I don't know Ms. Gilbert, never read the book, but I suspect she might agree that when we corral our binge thinking, when we let that portion of our mind go, all right, everything a turn, right? Every season, there's a season for everything. I'll give you 5 minutes to binge think a little later. What's wrong with it? Because here's something else. People go, oh, well, I'm trying to quiet that mind. No, just pay attention to it. Let it run amok for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. What do you care? And go, okay, are you done? Are you done, are you? Okay. Okay, needle nits. Now, can I get back to running the show here? And then you're going to find the monkey mind's like, yeah, I'll just sit over here for a little while. So everyone's slamming the monkey mind, the crazy portion of your minds, the egoic mind. Again, when we have the ego shield, when we put up a little bit of that buffer, when we remember who the hell works for who, great gig. Why corral a monkey mind when that's what God gave you? One part of your overall ability is your monkey mind, your egoic mind. Now, at times, it's always not looking out for us, but we don't try to get rid of it. We're not going to try to kill it. I wish I could get rid of the ego. Well, that is what all natural being is. But I got to figure, if we're still here on this planet, use them if you got them. You got a monkey mind? Incorporate it. Just don't let it steal the show. Just know, hey, there's an... Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Hello? All right. Open mic night. Here's a 5-minute limit. Give it an open mic for 5 minutes, then go, all right, thank you. Don't forget to tip your waiters. Good night, everybody. And then take control of your mind back. Let your monkey mind run crazy. Because here's what I have found. In 30 years of doing this, with all due respect to all the folks a little younger who have figured out how to do this, here's what I've learned in 30 years. If you don't give the monkey mind, you go to the egoic portion of your mind, you don't get that crazed little hamster on a wheel, you don't give it a few minutes of, you don't give it its 15 minutes of fame every so often, it's going to submarine you. It's going to do what it can to pull you down. So instead of saying, we got to get rid of the monkey mind, just let it out for a little while. Like, remember the movie Caddyshack? When what did they would open the pool for the caddies 15 minutes once a year? Well, that's what it's like. You and I can let the monkey mind in like the movie Caddyshack when the caddies get to come in. They didn't try to kill the caddies. They let them run amok, get it out of their system. That's all you and I have to do. It says that the goal of meditation, to get to the point where you can focus without becoming distracted. It's not the goal of meditation. Distraction is where life's at when you control it. When you're able to sit there, grounded in your own being, grounded in your all-natural being, spiritually or scientifically, when you're able to sit there, you're the attention center, and you decide where your attention is going to flow, but distracted all you want. Moment, you can bring it back. Distraction, not such a bad gig. If we've got it, let's use it. Let's not malign our minds. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's build the ego shield so we know when its craziness starts. We can sideline it and call our soul off the sidelines, put the ego over on the sideline for a little while. The monkey mind, that kind of thing. Let it run nuts. Then bring it back. Remind it. You work for me. I don't work for you. And that's meditation. Remembering who the boss is. So with everyone out there going, I have 101 steps to learning effective meditation. Good for you. I beat you. I got one. Remember who you are. That's it. That's all meditation is. Remember who you are. All the other bat crap crazy going on around you, all the mashugana, all the amnesia, all the blind spots, not you. When we do that, now that's psychology today. All right, and then number 3 on the list, to focus on the breath. We dig that. Why not? Still have to say, right, it's not a popular position to take. And for all the different people that are digging them, I guess, if it helps, then why not? I don't see the reason for a meditation app. Because if you just inhale, and let's say you decide you're going to do your inhale on a 3 count. So you start really low. 1. There's your 3. And then you're going to exhale. Same thing. 3. Do you need an app for that? More importantly, I think, is to have your little journal. Now, if you want to do that on your phone, groovy, write some little notes to yourself. Go, hey, I had 2 20-minute victories today. So when you get to the end of the day, when you get to bed at night, you can go, hey, what did I do to channel my fundamentals? What did I do to bring my own bold? I had 2 20-minute victories today. A couple times where I thought ego was getting the better of me. I did a 20-second victory. Breathe in, exhale, scan horizon, then take action. Bring out your best. I had a dozen 20-second victories. Now you got something to brag about when you fall asleep to your journal. Maybe those are some numbers that you can keep track of. I don't know. Just thinking that might work. It's what I do. Now, I don't count every single 20-second victory. You most certainly may, and you most certainly may at any stage of the process. All I'm saying is that after you grow accustomed to them, they come just so it's more of a distraction to go back and go, all right, how many of those did I do in the last hour? The feeling of doing them is so great. I'd rather be doing the next one than counting how many you have in the bag already. So, just saying. If you hate meditating, me too. Me too. The pillows, the incense, all the different stuff going on. Meditation, remember who you are. All right, hold on. We'll be right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Because it's never too late to take your life back.
It's never too late to take your life back. That's the point we're trying to make. Anytime you want to reconnect with your all-natural being, even as we saw one of those reports earlier, if you're an old guy like me, old gal like me, guy, gal, boy, girl, gentleman, lady, whatever it is. This might be the perfect time for you and I to take up inner orienteering, as I call it. Being able to negotiate. Some of the bat crap crazy that makes it into our minds at times. Like light seeping in under the curtain. A smell coming from the kitchen. Like if someone's making blueberry muffins and you can smell it. Just kind of wafts in. Well, the bat crap crazy makes it in just as well. So something to think about. All right, another really cool article that I found today. Now, I don't agree with every aspect of it, but this article talked about your fundamentals and how, like Vince Lombardi, who I've always liked Lombardi when he said, that football is like a game of inches, but those inches are all around us. Those are like the fingerprints of Providence. That's what it's like being in the labyrinth. So I've always been a big fan. Canada, well, hello. Gonna have to send me a text, though. Can't take the call during the air. Sorry. I've always dug Lombardi's train of thought. It's a game of inches, and those inches are everywhere around you. That's all you and I got to do. Find those inches. Level up in the labyrinth. And then you have basketball legend John Wooden. He was another one. Fundamentals, 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 fundamentals. Now, for you and I, we call them 20-second victories. We call them 20-minute victories if you're able to scale them up, stack them up. But the fundamental is, before the bat crap crazy gets in and gets a chance to take over, you go, well, wait a minute, need a little bit of an ego shield here. Not going to get derailed. This is not my scheduled insanity hour where I let the monkey mind and binge thinking run amok. Check back at 3 p.m. Eastern, right? Whenever it is, yes? But our fundamentals, when we feel ourselves being hijacked, when we feel our heads and our hearts, thank you very much, by the way, 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL, having the time of my life, thank you very much for the text. The fundamentals. When we practice the best acronym, 20-second victory, 20-minute victories, those become our fundamentals. And I promise you, there is a collective effect, a cascading effect, that when you do one, just like a push-up, just like push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups, you do one, and then the next one builds on top of that. And then it builds on top of that. And it builds on top of that. That's the person you look back and you go, oh, I'm doing 5? God love me. So we practice our fundamentals. Now, they can be scheduled or they can be spur of the moment. They could be intended or impromptu. You could say, okay, today at lunch, I get a lunch break at 12. I'll go grab a sandwich, grab a bottle, whatever I'm going to drink for lunch. And I'm going to have a 20-minute victory. Or it might be you're driving somewhere, you're getting somewhere, you're walking somewhere, and all of a sudden it hits you and you go, oh, well, this is time for a 20-minute victory. You know what happened to me the other day? I was out trying to walk off a long bike ride, and the 20-minute victory started when I heard the sound of a hawk overhead. It's like, caw, caw. People from the Audubon Society are going, Brian, that's not how a hawk sounds. Well, that's how it sounds to me. Caw, caw. It's a little more chirpy than a caw, but you get where I'm going with it. And that was enough to call my attention to the moment, and that began my 20-minute victory. So spur of the moment, a little more impromptu. So you can do it either way. Schedule it or spur of the moment. Their effects doesn't matter. The nice thing about the schedule is you know it's going to happen no matter what. So maybe a good thing, if you like, is schedule one, set a timer on your phone. I'm sure you got an app for that. Set a timer on your phone and go, okay, when it starts, whenever the alarm goes off, within the next couple of minutes, I need to be in a position to start my own 20-minute victory. That would be great. Now, as far as the fundamentals of the 20-second victory, the best acronym, don't worry, Fate will take care of that for you. That's when someone says something, you can feel yourself going, yeet. And then you go, nice try. I see what you got going on there. Not falling for it. And that's why 20-second victories can absolutely be impromptu. I guess you could say, well, let's schedule it as a fundamental. Next time I know I'm going to have a conversation with someone that usually tries to get my goat. You could say, here's how I'm going to start that conversation. You know what I found is terribly helpful for me? I don't respond to an email ever without a 20-second victory. Because believe me, does that ever happen to you? 331-684-7685. Give me a text, 331-684-SOUL. That ever happened? Somebody says something, and you're like, ugh. You read that email, and you go, oh, that's it. Welcome to the jungle. That's what you're going to do? All right. Here's how I'm going to respond to that. And then I go, nah, hold on. 20-second victory. Breathe in, exhale, scan the horizon. And then in this case, then I type. Right, there's your T. So I don't answer an email anymore because it's so easy to just let people rile you a little bit. And then you go, I'm not falling for it. I don't know why I opened their email in the first place. You get anybody like that? You open their email and you're going, what was I thinking? So maybe a way of scheduling the practice of a fundamental, maybe a way of doing that is go, just like I do. Do not send an email until you've done a 20-second victory. Your life will be a lot happier. By the end of the day, I promise, your life will be a lot happier. Don't let them get you. Don't let them derail you. You have peace of mind. Why surrender that just because someone sent you an email? Whoop-dee-doo. Maybe that's a part of working in a healthy habit. Article calls them a keystone habit. So it goes on to say how to improve your life. How to improve your life. I would say remember who you are, right? But according to the article, change one little thing. Number 2, make it so small you can't say no. And I like those 2 so far. Number 3, use a trigger. Great. You get an email, get someone saying something to you that's just trying to pick a fight, or do you have those people in your life it's just them? They may not be trying to pick a fight, but they're just habitually snarky. You got anybody? I don't think they mean to be. They're just snarky. Got anybody like that? That's a good way to practice. Use that as a trigger. Number 4, it says track your efforts. Again, it likes the idea of using an app. Probably gets a kickback if he promotes the app, this particular author. So do one thing you can change, which is how you're going to respond to your email. Make it so small. That's it, right? It's an easy thing. One email. It's going to take you 20 seconds. 20 seconds. And I promise you that you'll find out that if you invest that 20 seconds up front to take that deep breath so the real you is responding, at least attempting to respond, it'll save you hours of trying to mend fences. You can't be in the television world, you can't be in the media world without wanting to send these emails. And you're like, I'm going to let him have it. Then you go, nah, I'll breathe in, exhale, scan the horizon, then type my response. And if you do that, you'll save yourself time. You don't have to backtrack. You're not going to have to worry about any of it. All right, we'll be right back.
No self-help industry tactics here. You're listening to The Real Deal, Brian Brawdy, with All Natural Being on IPM Nation.
IPM Nation. Independent, provocative, and mobile, just like our minds should be. Now, I'll be talking to Matt later today. We're working on this because I've gotten a handful, about a half a dozen texts and emails from folks going, this doing the morning show is like from yesterday, and the live one is 11 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be talking to Matt today to see if there's a way of doing a midday, a drive time, and a late night. But he's right. There's a schedule, so we're trying to figure out what would be the best way, so that maybe the first show every day will be the 11 a.m. and then you can kind of dovetail, whether it's drive time, which you know what wouldn't be bad either, because we could do a drive time just to help pare away some of the bat crap crazy that may have leaked in throughout the day. That might not be a bad idea. So I'll be meeting with Matt later today. Figure out what's the best way to do that. So we're absolutely listening, and we want to do it. We want to make it in such a way that it really is the most beneficial to the rest of the kindred. So that's what we're working on. All right, another article that I found really interesting. There's no other way. Is that they had done a report, 10 mindfulness and meditation questions answered. Question number 1, mindfulness, what's that? And I liked it. It says a simple idea of paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Being aware of your thoughts and emotions. That's kind of a tricky one because you can't be aware of what bubbles up before you even know it's coming. But you can be the person watching the movie in your mind, sitting back. Got some bucket of popcorn maybe. You're watching everything play out. Number 2, it talks about why should I care about paying attention? For me, and they're going to offer it, well, you should pay attention because it's going to make you a better worker. You'll be a better worker bee. So let's bring in mindfulness training here to the corporation. I don't give a crap about you being a better working bee. You should pay attention because that's who you are. That's the all-natural you. What kind of stress do we think comes from trying to be the plastic fruit us, the styrofoam peanuts us, the inauthentic us, the handcrafted papier-mâché Meshuggah masks us? So all these questions about mindfulness and meditation, it's not about stopping your thoughts. I hear this all the time. Oh, meditation, about stopping your thoughts. That's like saying, I need a new exercise for my lungs. I'd like them to stop breathing. I'm working. Yes, I'm here to announce. Drum roll, please. One day I'm going to learn these sound effects, and then this is going to be good stuff. Drum roll, please. I've decided today I'll be doing a 12-step program on how to keep my stomach from digesting food. Yes. Oh, and how to keep my bowels from jumping on the bandwagon after the fact. That's what I'm going to do. Right. Followed up by the ever-popular course, how to keep my ears from listening and my eyes from seeing. Right. It's just going to be great. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Your mind is built to think. It's built to have thoughts. We don't want to stop our minds from thinking. We want to pay attention to where those thoughts come from and then decide. What am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that information? Some of that sense information coming in. And the cool thing is to be able to sit back and watch all this other stuff going on and go, oh, interesting. Yeah. And you sit back and go, it's a catchy tune. Let's see where I came up with that. But it's never about stopping our thoughts. It asks, are mindfulness and meditation the same thing? Quote, meditation is simply a technique used to train you to learn how to be mindful. It is like a targeted workout for your brain, one that trains you to learn a particular skill, being aware of where you are and spending your attentional energy. I kind of dig that. Attentional energy, that makes sense, right? Energy in, energy out. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is a way of life. You can walk mindfully, eat mindfully, listen mindfully, speak mindfully. According to the article, you can drive, read, play, love mindfully. Mindfulness is all about being present and aware of what's currently happening in and around you. It says that it encapsulates in the be here now. So that's why meditation for me and mindfulness flip sides of the same coin. Because when you reconnect with your all-natural being, the rest, semantics. I love this one. This is what I was drawn to. I'm not a spiritual person. How do you expect me to get on board with all this woo-woo stuff? Brother, sister, whoever you are, I am in. Although I happen to be a spiritual person, I can tell you that the benefits of inner orienteering, I can tell you the benefits. Thank you very much. Oliver just checking in. Thank you, Oliver, very much. But spiritual people are able to do this. Scientific people are able to do this as well, because outside of everything we use to divide us as individuals and also as who we are on the inside, everything we do to fragment ourselves. Bottom line is, our all-natural being is the core of what we are. It's no woo-woo. Woo-woo. As far as the mantras, the invocations, the article goes on to say the chakras, the third eyes. If you dig that stuff, God love you. God love you. There's a whole host of things that you can do. For me, the mantra is thank you. If I have an invocation, I'm invoking a sense of gratitude, of compassion. Chakras, that's up to you. Third eyes, I'd be happy if people had clear two eyes, which is why I love this time of the night. Oh, we're working on virtual reality. We haven't perfected all natural reality. Now we're going to work on virtual reality. Oh, yes, artificial intelligence. That's where it's at. Artificial intelligence? We haven't perfected our own intelligence. Or you could say, well, we absolutely have an artificial intelligence. You're letting the monkey mind of the ego run the show. You work for him. All right, punch your time card over there. I'm in charge now. And then in this whole debate, as I'm just reminded with the text, this whole debate between spirituality and religion. Religion, the original Latin of the word to bind together. Same with spirituality. The yin-yang, the grand harmony of Wudang Mountain. Now, there's a difference between fundamentalist religion, where you believe in a specific tunnel-visioned version of the divine. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but that's what you believe. But at its core, spirituality and religion are the same thing. We're binding together, whether it's the holy, H-O-L-Y, or holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y spirit. It's still a binding together. It's still a yoking. But then people say, oh, well, my religion, here's the creeds, here's the dogmas, here's the books, here's the rituals. That's where people get mistaken. But I have to tell you, my friends, if you pay attention to it enough, I've met some radically fundamentalist spiritualists that are as pigeonholed as some of the people that I've met that are radically fundamentalist religionists. More ego, less binding together, less remembering that you are the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchild of the divine, however you define it. So in the battle between, everyone wants a battle, but the battle between science and religion, really with the addition of the Higgs field, heaven or the Higgs field, not all that different. Not all that different, really. All the experts will go, well, yes, it is. We're all about empirical evidence in science. All right, you see the latest report? They spent all this time. Oh, we found a new particle. Oh, yeah, we're convinced this is going to work. Then like 6 months later, they had to come out and go, oh, never mind. There was some dust on the lens. A little bit of fuzz. Don't worry. We were wrong. Nothing to see here. Or another scientific kabuki dance. Well, these experts. Oh, I'm into empirical evidence. Okay. Division between spirituality and religion doesn't exist at the all-natural being level. Never has, never will. So if you don't like the woo-woo stuff, I'm with you. You don't like the Pollyanna stuff, I'm with you. Inner orienteering, as I call it, inner orienteering, meditation for the rest of us, meditation for the modern mind, meditation for the millennial mind. Remember who you are. And I'm so confident in who you are. People go, oh, you need the classes. Whoa. I have enough confidence in you. If you practice them, just bring your best. Breathe in, exhale, scan the horizon, then think. When you do that, your all-natural being is bubbling up from the inside. You two are going to reconnect. You two are going to hook up. Total confidence. I have total confidence in the universe, and I have total confidence in you. Once we corral the bat crap crazy. That's all. That's all we got to do. Which is why, in getting ready to wrap up, it would be a mistake to count you down or out. And the only way that you can be contained is if you give it your consent. You authorize your time in the asylum. Because ultimately it's up to you. Your mind is either a sanctuary or an asylum. But here's the cool thing. You decide. No one puts you in a sanctuary. No one puts you in an asylum. You are at the very least a co-conspirator. Wherever your post office box, whatever your address is. 101 Main Street, Asylumville. Or sanctuary. Cue the angelic voices. Woo! You decide where you put yourself. Not all these other people running around telling you this, telling you that, the big debate. Remember who you are. Be mindful of who you are. And when you meditate, mindfulness is the result. You'll find it being the same thing. No more hypocrisy. No more craziness. Just who you are at your core. The marrow of your mind. Which is why I say I have the greatest gig in the world. I get to be your tag team partner. I get to be a co-conspirator with you to getting you reconnected with your soul's sap, with the marrow of your mind. And it's a great gig, which is why I'm always confident, always fired up to say, I'm on your side even when you're not. Because every so often it's easy to get distracted, it's easy to forget, it's easy to get covered in blind spots. But my gig, Monday through Friday, and I'm going to keep it up as long as I can, as long as there's kindred, I'm going to be here. My gig is to simply remind you who you are outside of all the baggage, outside of all the conjecture and opinions of those around you, who you ultimately are. All right, my friends, I got a bolt. Big show tomorrow. Looking forward to hanging out. Remember, find a way of treating yourself today. Something new, something different, something that you've never done before. But take a little bit of a break. Be your own biggest fan. Be your own best friend. And you're going to have a fantastic 20-minute victory. All right, we're out of here. Love you guys. I will be with you tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock tonight, replay. If you want to hang back out or you want to suggest to your friends, hey, you should tune in at 8 o'clock. Why? Oh, why would I tune in? Because this is a show about you.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
always remember to bring your own bowl. Be fundamental. Have some fun. Remember who you are. Treat yourself. I'll see you tomorrow.